Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Direct Show's A Chat With series, where we are chatting with property managers, owners, and suppliers about their views and tips on direct bookings. Today, my guest is Melanie. Hello, Melanie. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Deborah. And thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to chatting to you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So the first question is, where are you and where are your properties located?
We are down in South Africa, on the Dolphin Coast is the area that's called it, which is KwaZulu-Natal. We have lovely warm weather where we are and warm water. So it's a very popular destination point. A lot of people go to Cape Town and discover they've got cold water down there, but come to KZN, we've got the warm water.
Lovely, lovely. So when you first started in the industry, did you start with direct bookings or did you discover direct bookings later on once you got started?
I think like a lot of hosts, we stumble into this industry. I firmly believe it chooses you. We invested in a property and I had an agency that was looking after the property for me. And then I was visiting my daughter down in Cape Town. She was at varsity there and I was staying in Airbnbs and, renting out little units for when I visited her. And then I suddenly thought, you know what, I could do this. My children are getting older. They're about to leave home. I live on a farm and our properties are about an hour's drive, which is not far. And the idea of hosting has been very natural for me. We've always done that. And one thing led to the next. And I thought, okay, well, let me try it in conjunction with the agency. And then it got to a point where I was getting more bookings than they were. Oh. And then I decided, okay, you know what, I can actually do this. And I went solo. And then like most of people who first start out, you're only on Airbnb. And that's all good and well initially. And they give you a lovely boost and you get lots of bookings and you think, hey, you're sorted. And then over time, so things changed and more and more people wanted to book directly with me. And I started to do the sums and I thought, well, why am I actually going through the one platform? And basically that's how it started. I realized that I needed my own website. I needed to be on other platforms. And one thing led to the next. And I ended up buying a second property. And then there was a third that I co-host with somebody. And the rest I can say is pretty much history.
Wow, that's fantastic. And why do you think direct bookings are so important?
I think we are about building relationships with our guests. And somehow the direct bookings is a much open, more platform than going through the OTAs. The OTAs, I think people just look at it and scroll through a number of different properties. But when it comes to direct booking, you've got a relationship already with that person, or they have a connection through a family member. There's definitely a more relationship building between the two, I think. And I think people like, especially after going through COVID, where we've all sort of missed each other's company, I really do believe that people are craving the actual person instead of a bot. So for me, it's definitely about relationship building.
I just had this really funny visual. The OTAs are a little bit like bars, like being in jail or a fly screen between you and the guest. There's just this barrier. You can see them, but there is a barrier. And having a direct booking means there's absolutely no barrier between you and the guest. So yes, I like that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's definitely the case.
Yeah. And in terms of your direct booking since the pandemic, have they grown? Do you see maybe the direct booking movement or more direct bookings happening now after the pandemic?
Absolutely. I have a group of other hosts that I started during COVID, more just to think out the box, how we could attract people. And also we had rulings and, everybody was asking questions. So we tried to assist each other with the challenges. And with that, it just made me realize that, more and more people want to be in control. If you're on an OTA and particularly on Airbnb, we all know what Mark says about building, your property on somebody else's land. But it really became heightened during COVID, when more and more people were saying, well, they're not getting bookings, they don't have an option, their bookings have just fallen away from booking.com or whatever platform. Also, our local ones that we have in South Africa also did pretty much the same thing. And the ones that you had a relationship with were very happy to postpone or have a voucher and come, you know, give it away to another family member. So it really heightened the fact that being, you know, having more direct bookings than being on an OTA only is the way to go. You know, you really are at somebody else's mercy if that's the case.
Yeah. Can you share with us, are you doing one thing that is giving you direct bookings? Like, what is your top tip to get you direct bookings?
I don't think there's only one. I really would love to be able to summarize it all into one. I think it's a combination. It's definitely, if it's past guests, keeping in communication with them, that's probably the easiest with the direct bookings, because they will come back to you. Also, this group that I formed, it was about when we got referrals and if we weren't able to accommodate them, we did this referral to the group. And even though a lot of my owners at the time said, oh, well, you know, they're booked with you, they're never going to come back to me. And then I really got over that hurdle of realizing that there's an abundance. We don't need to hang on to stuff. If we don't look after those guests, they're going to go to a completely different area. They won't be coming to our area, and nobody's going to benefit by that. So by sharing, we're all benefiting. So I think it's about your community, your fellow hosts. You know, don't try and be an island is probably my one big tip. And that includes your restaurateurs, it includes your, you know, the little coffee shop down the road. It includes everybody in the chain. Don't try and think you can do this solo. You definitely are stronger as a community. And with that, people speak. You know, the referrals come from the coffee shop owner, or it could come from a family member of the supermarket down the road that knows that you buy from them and what you do. So yeah, I'd love to be able to say it's one little thing, but it's definitely a combination. Yeah.
Just on that guest referrals, I actually designed and built a guest referral platform. And when I was trying to get managers on board, that's exactly the feedback. But if I give my guest away, they're going to belong to someone else. You know, they're going to continue using them. But I said, don't you realize that if you help your guest is going to remember that you helped them, rather than send them out to the wilderness to go and find your own accommodation because I'm full. That makes you look much, much better. And if you're all doing it, helping each other, those guests are going to feel very, very looked after, and they will stick with you. Yeah. And
even I've found as well, even if they have booked with somebody else, the fact that I helped them the first time around, they come back to me.
Yeah.
So it's a relationship building. And I think they appreciate the fact that you're not just going to throw them to the wolves. And I've had it before where people have said, look, they booked this place, but they're not really sure. Do I know it? Is it okay? And sometimes it just can be a reassuring thing. It might not be anything more than that. But very often it'll be word of mouth, and it comes back in another way. So, you know, I'm happy. It's not always about me. Sometimes paying it forward comes back in multiple ways. So it's definitely worked.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to rekindle something that I did a few years back with one of the other shows. And I'm going to ask you, what is the one word that describes the benefit of a direct booking?
Sure. Sincerity.
Oh, what a lovely word. Then that one didn't come up at all in the last series, but that's a lovely one. Oh, that's great.
I would say it's both sides. From the person who is booking with you, they sincerely want to be staying with you, and for me, you know, I sincerely appreciate them coming to me as well. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely lovely. Okay. Well, let's come to the end of this quick little interview. Thank you so much for your time, Melanie. I've really appreciated talking to you.
Pleasure, Deborah. Anytime.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.